Joining me on today's panel are three guests. The first is Ron Sachs, founder and CEO of Sachs Media Group, Katie Webb, managing partner of Kolodny Fast Lobbying and Government Consulting Division, and Chris Dudley, managing partner of Southern Strategy Group. Thanks for joining me today. Glad you're here. I want to throw this out to you. Easy starter question. We've got the governor's race coming up, 2018, and we're trying to figure out, little crystal ball, who is going to be the nominees for each of the respective parties for the governor's race. Ron, I'll throw it to you.
We have a long way to go to get to a general election ballot of who the nominees are, but if I had to pick today, I would say the front runners would be Adam Putnam on the Republican side and Gwen Graham on the D side.
Yeah, and you've been in this mix before. You've been in governor's races before. We've all been there. We've all seen it. We've all watched these things play out. But right now, are you saying that just because they're the money leaders, or is there other intangibles?
No, I think they have the name recognition. Others need to earn that. I think they've amassed pretty good campaign funds, and I think they're conventional choices. But a lot's going to happen in the next year that's going to cause people to go up and go down.
Okay. Katie, do you agree with Ron, or was there any different insight?
Well, I would just add that the Republican primary is going to be crowded. And I think if you were to ask any of the three folks that have put their name out there so far, like Jack Latvala, Richard Corcoran, or Adam Putnam, all three of them are going to have a plan that they're going to present to people who are potential donors, to the public, on how they intend to win the Republican primary. At this point, absent other folks on the Democrat side getting into the race, yes, I would think that Gwen Graham, it would probably be the most likely nominee from the Democrat Party. But I think the Republican primary is going to be very interesting to see how that unfolds.
So, Chris, we've got the consensus answer right now. We've got Gwen Graham. We've got Adam Putnam. They're the money leaders. They're the ones that are out there. They're building organizations. I mean, is there anybody else that can top what they've got already? What's going on? What do you think?
I think it'll be hard. I mean, there are 21 candidates as of today that have filed to run for governor. 11 of those are Republicans. Only 5 are Democrats. I mean, I don't think we've seen everybody that's going to get in this race. I think on the Republican side, Adam is clearly the leader. He's got, $20 million in the bank. He's got great name ID. He's been working a long time on the grassroots part of this. But Brian, as you well know, Governor Rick Scott got in the race of April of 2010, and $70 million later, he's governor. So I think it's hard to tell. On the Democratic side, I think Gwen Graham. I think the Democrats have a history of looking at hardcore progressives like Andrew Gillum and others, but at the end of the day, they nominate moderates. They nominate a little more middle of the road people they think can win and compete in the general. I think that's what
I think another point worth mentioning is that I think if you check Florida history, there's never been a speaker or president who's been able to successfully ascend to the governor's mansion.
Why is that?
It's never happened. Because I think they have a higher opinion of how much name recognition they have around the state than they actually do. Now, Richard Corcoran is a different breed of House Speaker or Senate President.
And he's not in the race yet, but he's going to be.
I think he's been wildly underestimated along the way. He's a brilliant political strategist, and I do think, as Katie said, it's going to be a very exciting Republican primary.
Do we think I said he's going to be, and it's sure looking that way, but what is the alternative reality here for Richard Corcoran? If he doesn't run for governor, what would he do? Does he just fade away into the limelight?
I doubt we would see Richard Corcoran fade away into the limelight. He'll figure out something. I mean, obviously he is an attorney, could always return to a practice of law, but I don't think we see him just go away if he decides not to run.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Richard is a passionate public servant. I mean, I think he enjoys being in the arena. I think he likes making decisions. I think he relishes these public policy discussions, and I think he runs for governor. I don't think he fades away.
Let me throw this out at you, especially to you two. You guys are in the government affairs business, and you kind of know a little, maybe you probably know as much as you've been in the business as well, but in terms of just the actual day-to-day sausage-making grind, you've got Richard Corcoran and Jack Latvala both, who are sort of in the driver's seat when it comes to earned media, something you know a lot about, Ron. But does that mean that they're going to throw a monkey wrench into session, or a monkey wrench could get thrown into session to give them some kind of political advantage as they go into the 2018 sort of full swing governor's race?
I think it's a double-edged sword and a slippery slope for both of them. I think if you're trying to make the point that you can manage government, that you can keep the trains running on time, then you got to keep the trains running on time. I also think, the most important person that we're not talking about during this 2018 session is Irma. And I think Irma's going to suck a lot of the, not only oxygen, but cash out of the room. And when you're running for office, you want to have money in the budget to make it work for 160 members of the legislature. Right. So I think those two things are something that both Chairman Latvala and Speaker Corcoran are going to have to kind of plan for.
Agreed. I agree. I think that, we're already looking at budget projections that show a deficiency going forward. So the budget's going to be a sticking point, and clearly Chairman Latvala has a lot of discretion over how that plays out. So I think that another key factor that we haven't really seen play out yet in how this gubernatorial campaign develops is what's going on in Washington and how that trickles down. I think that what we're seeing, especially, today we had the president come out and make some declarations as it relates to Obamacare, and there's a lot of people that are very concerned about how that ultimately will trickle down into state politics and how things play out, just in our political realm. So I think that's another big variable.
Right. Let me throw one at you. You're an earned media specialist. We both played this sort of gubernatorial communications game. If you're advising either Latvala or Corcoran, do you advise them to sort of throw a monkey wrench to get more earned media, or do you think that creates more problems for them?
I think these guys could burp in public and generate a statewide story. But for Corcoran, having the constitutional amendment on the ballot that he placed there that gets folks to double their homestead exemption, that is a referendum on
pocketbook issue.
Oh, he's going to milk that.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break.